Welcome to IT Modernization in Government, sponsored by Cisco. I'm your host, John Gilroy. My guest is Peter Romnest, Cybersecurity Solutions Lead, U.S. Public Sector, CTO Office at Cisco. Peter, how are you?
Very good, John. I'm happy to be here.
You pick up the newspaper, you look at tweets, you find out that the Modernizing Government Technology Act was just passed. It's big news in this town, and it squarely targets legacy systems. Where does Cisco fit in with this whole idea of legacy system and the transformation that's taking place now?
Well, there's both the cybersecurity or the Modernizing Government Technology Act, as well as the Cybersecurity Executive Order that just came out. And both of those things attack legacy systems. They also encourage using the cybersecurity framework from NIST, and they also give agency heads both the responsibility and the ability to make the changes needed. Now, you can't just go in and do a wholesale replacement of all government technology. So you need a planned approach, and that's where Cisco can really help. We manage many of the networks in government. We supply the equipment to many of the networks in government. And so we are able to understand what's there and help our customers develop a plan to move forward and make these decisions that help keep their data secure.
I think most people listening realize that Cisco, been there, done that, got the T-shirt, live in the data center, know it inside and out, and your wide experience has helped my listeners, federal IT professionals, maybe this transition easier than they can with other options. There's a catchphrase that's tossed around all the time. It's called just keep your patches up to date. Sounds like it's pretty easy, but with the, all kinds of different systems out there, interdependencies, thousands of servers, how can Cisco assist in this problem?
Yeah, so it's real easy to say, after a breach, you really should have done your patches. Well, it's not always easy. If you're managing hundreds of thousands of systems, and maybe some of those systems are embedded systems, and you've got all these other dependencies that depend on those systems, you can't just go out and patch very quickly. So that's where you are dependent on all of the security devices on your network. So the most recent vulnerability that's been announced in the news is this Intel chip vulnerability.
Just recently.
And in order to fix that, the chips have to be redesigned. Well, that's going to take a long time. So if you have all of these other systems in place in an architectural approach that allows you to spot when someone is trying to take advantage of that vulnerability and to block it, to make it so that if a bad piece of software tries to enter your network and call out over the internet to its manager, that call would be blocked. So there's all kinds of different ways that these vulnerabilities can be protected against. I always say if we can protect against users doing things that they don't know, we can probably protect against a chip that is doing something that we know will act in a certain way.
It sounds like there's a transition here becoming more and more proactive. How does something like Talos fit into this discussion of proactive measures?
So Talos is Cisco's threat intelligence organization. These are over 250, approaching 300 threat researchers that spend their full time out searching for threats, and then they are able to create defenses against those threats. It's probably one of the largest threat intelligence organizations in the world, and so we're able to find threats quickly and to patch them quickly and to allow our customers to be protected.
And what's interesting is that this Intel problem was discovered by the people at Google. And so large organizations like you and Google can actually be very proactive in protecting my listeners from cybersecurity attacks.
Right. And oftentimes you'll hear that Cisco Talos found this threat. So that's where that term comes from.
All kinds of terms are thrown around when it comes to the cloud, the on-prem, off-prem, hybrid cloud. Can Cisco help my listeners with these variations?
Yes. And again, we talk about an architectural approach. So it's not just one device. So it's multiple ways of finding threats in a network and making sure that they all work together so one device shares with another. And we offer that capability not only on-prem, but we have cloud versions. So whether your data is in on-premises, in the cloud, or in a hybrid cloud, we can offer the same protection wherever you go.
Have you found that your skill set has been particularly effective in a federal environment?
Yes, and the big thing about that is scale. Most of the time, federal agencies are much bigger than your average commercial, and Cisco has a unique ability to scale to into large organizations, and that's where it really helps.
My guest is Peter Ramnes, Cybersecurity Solutions Lead, U.S. Public Sector CTO Office at Cisco, on IT Modernization in Government, sponsored by Cisco. I'm your host, John Gilroy, and you're listening to Federal News Radio 1500 AM and federalnewsradio.com.